The more I grow, the more my perspective changes, and as it changes, the more it starts to differ from conventional viewpoints. And one of the ways in which I think my perspective differs from conventional way of seeing it or this topic is balance, the whole topic of balance. And I want to exaggerate or sorry, make it clear that what I'm really talking about is balance in the way that most people see it. So the conventional way of seeing balance. And that's why I've put quotation marks around the word balance in the title. This is not clickbait. And I think the reason for this is because most people define balance as, for example, I did some work today, so now it's time to scroll on TikTok. Or I did some work today, so now it's time to go out for a few beers with my friends, you know? Or another classic one is I did a workout today, so now I'm going to have a double glazed donut or whatever. You know, I've earned this. And by the way, excuse my voice, I have a bit of a, I don't know what it is, a cold or something. Either way, in my opinion, this is completely backwards. And if you asked me a few years ago, I would have said balance is BS altogether. But I think it's wrong to say, or it would be wrong for me to say that balance is BS altogether because you can't not believe in balance. Balance is a fundamental law, if you will. I mean, everything tends towards chaos and disorder without balance. It must be there. But once again, I just see balance completely differently. And the way I see balance now is that I see balance as what Gary Keller, who's an author, and I believe he is the founder of Kellerman Realty, or is it Keller Realty? It's a big uh, real estate company. He speaks about counterbalance. So, in other words, if you imagine a scale, most people try to keep that scale balanced instead of letting it tip. But what that then means is that we live in a shallow way. We never live truly and deeply. We never let any one side tip and reach its full depth and get a full taste of what life is. We try and keep it as balanced as possible, and we just live in a shallow way. And I say that because I used to live that way. And I'm still making an effort not to live that way. And so that's why, as I kind of started to believe in this philosophy more and more, that's when I adopted the whole concept of seasons. So, what I mean is, I will have a season of deep work, and then, for example, afterward, a season of deep play. So, instead of trying to balance on a day to day scale, balance my life on a day to day scale, for example, working for a few hours and then, like I said, scrolling on TikTok, going for a few beers and drinks, and just trying to escape reality and forget about work, you know? Instead, I go deep in my work for a month, for example, or 45 days, or maybe 2 months even, and I will go truly deep in that work so I can see what I'm truly capable of. Because that's when my mind starts to come up with incredible ideas because it's like a sponge that is fully soaked in the liquid that it's in. It's a strange analogy I just tried to come up with, but you get the point. It's fully soaked, it's fully rich of whatever the thing is. Obviously, this is a strange analogy. Water is not rich. You get the point. And then after I'm done, I'll do a season of deep play where I will do what I want. I'll go, typically, I'll take a trip, I'll go and travel. If not, I might do a smaller adventure of some sort. I might, I don't know, play some piano, learn some music. I might, maybe it's just for a birthday, a family member's birthday that I'm putting a pause on my work. So then I'll enjoy that. And that way, I achieve what Gary Keller calls counterbalance. So, in other words, once again, you let the scale tip to one side, but then once it's done that, you bring it back. And over the long term, it is balance. It is balance because you are balancing it. It's just that in the short term, you're completely imbalanced. And that's the whole point, because that's, I think, what going deep is about. Or what life is about. It's about going deep, I think, actually truly tasting life. I mean, this whole balance thing, it's almost kind of like not truly tasting life's flavors. It's kind of like just licking or eating the crumbs, but never truly tasting, smelling the aroma and tasting the rich flavors of life. And obviously, I should point out the fact that most of us don't have work that we would be willing to go deep in, or just wouldn't even be able to go deep in, because let's say we work a 9 to 5, or in my case, I actually work part time as a lifeguard. But when I say work, I'm referring to my creative work, my life's work, my filmmaking, not my part time job. I'm obviously not going to go deep in that. I'm talking about my creative work. So obviously this leads us to a whole nother topic, which is finding your life's work, something you love enough and are so deeply not only passionate about, but also driven and purpose driven. Like, you feel it gives your life meaning. But that's a whole, it's a story for another day, to be honest. But the point stands. I think life is about going deep. And then another another thing I've come to realize is that previously, a couple of years ago, when I would have said that balance is BS and my whole life was just consumed by work, I would work 14-hour days, 6 days a week. And even up until, honestly, several months ago, even when I wasn't grinding, I was still saving money and treating kind of my life. And when I say that, I mean, I believe that every single minute, every joule of energy, and every single pound or dollar of money that we spend is a vote for the person or the life we want to create. And what I was previously doing, what I was voting for, is living for the future. I was just saving money so that in the future, then I could do what I want to do. I have to work now, then later on I can do what I want to do. But I've stopped living that way, and that's why I've allowed to live myself to live in a way that aligns with my philosophy, which is living in seasons. I now allow myself to step back from my work and take a trip and travel somewhere in the world that I truly want to travel to, because isn't that the point of life, to do the things we want to do instead of putting them off? And then by the time we realize we want to do those things, well, we realize it's too late, and then we get urgency to do those things. So, all in all, I'll wrap things up here. I've stopped believing in balance in the conventional term, or sorry, definition of the term, and also in living for the future. And also, one more thing I want to say is that whenever I do, whenever I do go into a season of deep play, and I just call it that because it's the opposite of deep work. I've not decided yet if that sounds cheesy or not. But the point is that whenever I do step back from my work, I actually come back to my work more inspired and more driven, and I just want to get back to the work. Breaking free from the routine and schedule makes me want to return to that routine. Personally, if I do anything I love for too long, such as a workout plan or anything for too long, it gets stale, as no matter how good it is. So that's it for today. I don't believe in putting all your eggs in one basket. I believe in spreading your eggs across different baskets, or maybe just moving your eggs from time to time. And that I mean, of course, living deeply. Have a great day. Ciao.